Angela Merkel launched a surprisingly furious attack against Emmanuel Macron, as she complained of being tired of always picking up the pieces. The EU is supposed to be a democratic union of 27 members. However, the bloc, and its predecessor versions, have always relied upon Germany and France as its anchor tenants. It was the French wartime hero and later President Charles de Gaulle who famously told the German Chancellor Konrad Adenauer in 1963 that Europe is France and Germany, the rest are just the trimmings. More than half a century later, de Gaulle's comment is still relevant. At the end of August, German Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President Emmanuel Macron met in a medieval island fortress in the Mediterranean to chart the next steps for the partnership that is the driving force behind the bloc. Inside the walls of Fort de Brégançon, the traditional summer residence of French leaders, the German Chancellor and French President attempted to tackle the most pressing issues on the global agenda. At the same time, Mrs. Merkel was seeking to cement progress on some long-standing objectives, including deciding what relationship Europe should have with a resurgent China, reimagining the shape of the EU after Britain's exit, and carving out a role for Europe as a defense power to match its economic might. A German government source said, both Merkel and Macron are aware that the EU is in a crucial period. And that France and Germany, even though they have different views on a lot of issues, have to stick together. There have been several occasions in which the two leaders have been at loggerheads with each other, though. In November 2019, Mrs. Merkel was uncharacteristically furious with Mr. Macron. At a dinner to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, she huddled with the French president, who had just given an interview, in which he cited the brain death of NATO and wondered whether its commitment to collective defense still held. Mr. Macron had also been the sole leader to veto the start of lengthy membership talks for North Macedonia to join the EU. In the emotive outburst, Mrs. Merkel raged, "I understand your desire for disruptive politics, but I'm tired of picking up the pieces. Over and over, I have to glue together the cups you have broken so that we can then sit down and have a cup of tea together." Mr. Macron defended himself, saying that he could not simply go to a NATO meeting in London in December and pretend that the United States and Turkey had behaved in the collective interest in Syria. He said, "I cannot sit there and act like nothing has happened.